Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Bream Fishing Project. And I'm a little bit excited about this one. It's our first review of the Queensland team series. So we're going back to March 23, where they held an event on the Tweed River, just over the border in New South Wales. So it's a great little event. So I'm going to go through all of that with you just after the intro. Here we go.
Welcome to the Bream Fishing Project. This is where you need to be every Tuesday to find out all the latest tips and tricks to help you target bream on lures. You'll get to hear from some of Australia's elite bream competition anglers and see how they were able to achieve their results in competitions around the country. Now, here's your host, the 2019 Hobie Kayak Fishing World Champion, Andrew Deeth.
All right, so I've had a bunch of stuff going on over the last couple of weeks, and I'll just run back through that a little bit. So I did attend the Australian Open to help out with the team there, and what a great event. Congratulations to Daniel running over the top on the last day, coming in first. That was just, it was great to see. He's a very skilled angler, and he's done very, very well. And there was a point there where we thought Jamie McEwen was coming run over the top as well, but he was just a little bit below that. And then, of course, last year's winner, Steve Morgan, backing it up with a third this year. How good is that? Yeah, so a great little event, and I was really happy and privileged to be part of that. And so thanks to the observers too, who came in and said hello. It was great to see some of you guys again and meet some new people. That was very cool. All right, so I also then backed that up with Hedgie's birthday weekend. For anyone that you know, Dave Hedge, he hit a bit of a milestone Tuesday just gone. Anyway, we all went up to Harvey Bay. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about that right in the end so you can choose to listen or not. But we did get some good fish. It was pretty fun. Also, in the back end of the show, I'll give you an idea what's coming up over the next couple of weeks. There's a few more comps rolling around. So that's very cool. And there's another thing with the Hobie Georges River round coming up at the end of the month. There's a couple of things going on. So fishing.com.au, we're going to have a night on the 24th, which is the Friday night. Don't know the details for times, but it's definitely happening. We're looking at getting maybe a couple of people to do possibly a Q&A. I've heard there might be some giveaways and all sorts of stuff. So if you're around and you can make it, it's definitely going to be worth coming down and hanging out. If we get something decent in terms of a Q&A going, maybe we'll record it as a podcast, but we'll see how we go. So definitely see if you can get in for that. And I'll talk a little bit more in the little bit I do for Adam in the middle of the angler interviews about what you might use down on the Georges. So a couple of my tips and see how you go. Now, the other thing for Georges River people, anyone that wants to find out a little bit more about the Georges, last Thursday night, I did a live stream with Greg Vinyl from the Australian Lure Fishing Podcast, and we did an AI review of the Georges River. So he pulled up some really cool stuff on trending wind patterns and all this sort of stuff. And then I guess I cross-referenced it with what my local knowledge would be. So, it was quite interesting to have a chat. So if you want to listen to that, this is the part where you've got to go back and you've either got to be a member of Team Doc Lures or join up again. I do notice there's still a bunch of people who are still a member from when I did the Big Bream series. There's still a bunch of people who are members. But if you're not a member anymore, it's probably worth it jumping back on for a little while. So www.teamdoclures.com/Deeth, spelt death. So yeah, www.teamdoclures.com/Deeth. So you can jump in there. You can have that review of the Georges River. You can go back through the Big Bream series, which was something that I'm quite proud of. Those are the 6 interviews I did there. I still got one more I want to do. I haven't quite got to it. But yeah, jump on that and see what you think. And maybe there's something in it for you in terms of reviewing new systems. All right, let's get into the competition. So this was the Queensland team series held on the 23rd of March on the Tweed River out of Fingal Head. The fish activity wheel said 78, so it's pretty high with a major bite period at 10:09 a.m. through to 12:39 p.m. High tide was at 8:20 at 1.61 with a low tide at 2:35 p.m. at 0.43. The winning bag by John Siggs, the average fish in that bag was 619 grams. All right, so I think that's all the housekeeping and what have you. So let's get into the angler interviews. Here we go. All right, so coming in fifth place, dropping 5 fish for 2.28 kilos, I have Team Lawrence Ghost, and with me I have Bernard Kong. Welcome to the show, mate.
Thanks, mate. Thanks for having us on the show, thing.
Mate, thanks for coming on. And we just spoke before air, like you're a couple of days out or maybe a week out of heading down to Sydney for the Open. You must be excited about that.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited. The boat's running well, and I just got to probably pack the car and get the tackle ready on Saturday, and we'll probably roll out on Sunday morning. So, yeah, keen to get there and have a pre-fish and have a quick look, see what the harbour does.
Yeah, I think it's going to be an interesting one this year. By the time this gets released, it'll be all run and done. But, be interesting to see what the fresh water did.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to know, to see whether they're still like in the winter pattern or the fresh water is just right on top of the saline water. So it'd be keen to see whether the deep will play the part this year.
Yes, yeah, I think so. I'm interested to see if Morgo can dial it in like he did last year on the mussels.
Yeah, it'd be good to see.
Very good. All right, mate. So look, the Tweed River Rounder, the QTS, you guys launched out of Finglehead Boat Ramp, I think.
That's correct.
First of all, did you get a chance to have a pre-fish?
No, we didn't do the pre-fish, to be honest. We just rock up on the day on the com and decided between both of us, I think we had enough spots to bounce between both of us.
Yeah.
And we said we just fish and enjoy the day out, and we did that.
Yeah, and I don't think I said in the intro, but you fish with Charlie Sakeo, is that correct?
That is correct.
Yeah, perfect. Okay, so you've rocked up on comp day. Maybe give us a bit of a rundown of how your day went and how you went about catching your fish.
So in the morning, I think there's this rock wall. I'm not sure where it is, just quite near the mouth.
Oh, yeah.
That it sticks out. We both spoke about it and decided that's where the pressure point is, where the current's coming in, the tide's coming in. So we decided to hit that rock wall first up. I think Charlie we got there probably started, I think 6:30 from memory.
Yeah.
We got there. I got there in probably about less than 5 minutes.
Yeah. Okay.
So from Finglehead. And I think Charlie quickly got a 29 forker from memory.
Okay.
And then I followed. Yeah, that was a good start, right? First cast.
Wow.
And then after that, 29 forker, we got that in. And after that, I think I pulled a 27 or 28 fork from memory. And then we said, yep, they're here, right? And then Charlie did I think a third or fourth cast, and he was on, but the fish got in the current, and it just took him right in. He went right in, so we knew it was good fish. Yeah. Okay. Then we thought, oh, bugger this. We did a few more passes in the rock wall. I think we got probably three legals from the rock wall.
Right.
And we decided to go to the front. Yeah, right to the front where the rock wall, a big rock, massive rock wall is.
Right. So right at the very entrance, like down right near the beach.
Yeah, right at the mouth. Yeah,
wow.
Right at the mouth. The current and the waves were pretty big. It was right crashing right onto the rock wall.
Right.
So we said, we won't try to get too close.
Yeah.
But we try to do it as a best. I think I pulled one more legal from there, and I lost one as well. I pulled a hook on one because it was just too hard. The current was pushing one way and the wind's blowing another way. So it's just too hard. And I think we got one more there, and I lost one. And then it just went dead. We said, oh, no. So we went probably midway, halfway up river. There was another rock wall there, but it's a really small one. And then Charlie completed the back from there, from memory.
Okay.
And he pulled hooks on a 30, looks like a 30 forker to me.
Oh.
Same problem. When you fish current and the boat's going one way and the current's going another way.
Yeah.
It's hard.
What lures were you running?
So Charlie was running a Chubby.
Yep.
And I was running a Daiwa Spike.
Okay.
And as I said, I tried running the crabs, like rock walls and crabs always works, but probably the diet wasn't just crabs. So I only got probably 1 or 2 bites on the crabs. And straight away, we knew that they were on the cranks. So they were hitting cranks. So both of us just changed their crank, but just a different profile. So that Charlie had one that was slightly a bit round in shape, and mine's a bit long. It's like a fish. So yeah, we went from there. We just completed the bag. And then after that, we thought, you know what? Tide's running out. We got to upgrade, so I think 2 or 3 fish. So we went up to the canals. And when I fish the canals, it's pretty selfish fishing in terms.
Yeah.
I crank the canals. So I crank them with zip baits. Can't really remember what number it is.
Okay.
But yeah, I crank on zip baits, and they were still hitting cranks. So I think I upgraded to there, to back 2 fish from there, from the canals, and that finished off our day, to be honest.
Right.
Unfortunately, it was lost fish, but that's what happens.
Yeah, I think you said before you lost a couple in the current and what have you on the rock walls, which is unfortunate because, a couple of upgrades there, you're right up in the mix.
Yeah, correct. So, and we knew the fish that Charlie pulled the hook on, we knew it was a 34. I could see the flash.
Yeah.
Man, the one that took in the rock wall, and it was no chance. He didn't even get a chance to put hurt on it even. So we knew that was a good fish. So, but it is what it is. Unfortunately,
it is what it is. You're still right up the pointy end of the field. Before we move off the fishing, what sort of lines and leaders are you guys running typically?
On the rock walls, usually 5 pound.
Okay.
5 pound on the leaders, and I just use the Daiwa braid. I'm pretty sure Charlie uses something FC rock. I'm not sure, but yeah, we run usually 10 pound braid.
Yeah, okay.
10 pound braid and then 5 pound leader for rock walls. I know some people say it's a bit risky, but we like to think in terms that we rather get the bites and worry about the fish later.
Yeah.
Than not get the bites.
Yeah.
So
that's an interesting ongoing debate on what sort of leaders you should or shouldn't use. And I guess all the theories are right at different times.
Yeah, right at different times. And I think we think that our theory is if you fish in the current, if they see it coming past,
yeah,
they won't hesitate but to hit it. So actually, technically, they won't be really line shy, but we still believe that if they're not looking at the lure and they get really picky, they actually can see the leader as well.
Yeah.
So we reckon 4 is a bit undergun, 6 is a bit over, so we go with 5.
Yeah, okay.
It seems to does the job. So
very good. Either way, mate, it's a nice, tidy little result for the first round.
Yep.
Mate, I think that covers the fishing. So, mate, before we head off, is there anyone you want to give a shout out to or say thank you to?
Definitely me and Charlie would like to say thanks to Lawrence for helping us with all the electronics we got on our boats, and Miller rods for all the Miller rods we are currently using.
Yeah.
And probably that's about it. And definitely yourself and of course QTS Craig for running such a sweet event. It's just simple. It's friendly. It's easygoing, and we reckon it's a great little event to attend. Actually,
yeah. I did notice it's a nice little event, like 1 day event. You can see they try and put a sausage sizzle on when they can, which is always good when you come off the water.
Yeah,
yeah. Nice, like you said, nice friendly event.
That's it. I reckon for a starter, and even people that actually fish every week, it's just like a friendly little event where everybody can just sit down, have a chat, have a sizzle. And the fishing is, of course, important, but it comes second. And just the friendship between the event and, yeah, I reckon it's a great little catch up and meet up.
Definitely. One more thing before I head off is what electronics are running on there? You got Lowrance, but what are you actually running on the boat at the moment?
I'm running a 16 and a 12 Lowrance Live.
Okay.
And then Charlie's running a HD Pro.
Okay.
2 12s and 1 16.
Okay. All right. So pretty serious gear. Any forward facing between the two of you?
Yes. Both of us have both active targets forward facing.
Very good. Very good. All right. Well, we might come back into that the next time you jump on.
Sure. No problems.
Mate, I want to thank you for coming on the show and say hi to Charlie for me, and we'll talk to you again soon, hopefully.
No problems. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. All right, fishing.com.au, your one-stop bream lure and tackle shop. Pick up the latest tackle, including Muscle Vibes, Cranka Crabs, OSP Bent Minnows, Z-Man Plastics, Eco Gear Lures, and Daiwa Rods, Reels, and Tackle. Same-day shipping. Shop where the world champion, the Australian champion, and the current ABT champion shops. Fishing.com.au, online or in-store at shop 18/29 Kiora Road, Miranda. All right, so a couple of things that I think will be important for the Georges. Now, I guess these are my recommendations, so take it for what it's worth. We've had a decent amount of rain here, so that's definitely swayed my opinion on what you might or might not use. Anyway, maybe some Cranka Crabs and Muscle Vibes for anyone hitting the vertical structure. Eco VX 35s and 40s are going to be great in the deeper water. Gulp shrimp and gulp crabbies. I think with the scent coming off these in the fresh water, I think that could be quite helpful. And of course, the last thing, none other than the River to Sea Baby Vibes, still slaying them. I got a bunch of my fish in Woi Woi on the second day on Baby Vibes, still working a treat. So yeah, jump on it. All right, so coming in fourth place with a bag of 5 fish for 2.806 with a big brim of 918 grams from Team Snagged again, I have Blake Anschau. Welcome to the show, mate.
Thank you, Andrew.
Hey, that's a nice, tidy little result for you for first round of the year.
Not a bad start. First tournament in my own boat as well.
First tournament in your own boat. Very exciting.
Yep. Only done the non-boaters and ABT.
Okay. And what sort of boat are you in?
Oh, just like a tinny, really.
Okay. That's all right. And how, just before we move on to the competition, how have you found owning your own boat and getting out and doing it?
Yeah, I've had a boat for 4 years, but I've never had one that I've been able to fish tournaments out of. Never had the live well or anything like that before.
Okay. Oh, very cool.
Completely different. It's heaps better.
Yeah, definitely. You can do your own thing and what have you. Yeah, yourself and Campbell then can get out and fish together. So how good's that? All right, mate. So down on the Tweed River, did you get a chance to get out and have a bit of a pre-fish?
Sort of the weekend before, was coming back from Brisbane and they had about an hour.
Right.
So I just didn't really fish, sort of more drove the river, just checked it all out because it was first time on the river in, I think, 2 years.
Yeah, okay. And did you, in that hour, did you find anything that caught your eye or did you set yourself up for the day?
Yeah, well, I found right out the front a few good spots where some wash was hitting.
Mm-hmm.
So I definitely wanted to hit that. And down just on the other side of the M1 bridge, there's a rock probably 3 or 4 metres off the shore.
Yep.
It's only just under the surface that we actually found in the boat.
Yeah, okay.
Going along real slow, found that with the motor.
Nice.
And so I wanted to hit there because it's a real rocky area and there were some real big boulders in there.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm sure we'll come back to that. All right. So Saturday, the 23rd, tell us about how your day started. How'd you go about catching your bag of fish?
Yeah, so it started off real good. We had our 5 by about 8 o'clock.
Right.
Real small bag. Then I think top of the tide was about 8 o'clock. It quietened right down till we got a bit of flow going again. And straight off, I think it's South Wall. Could be wrong. We got a 38 and a 39 both at the same time, basically.
Right.
So that gave us a big upgrade. And then scuba divers started to come down and sort of threw us out of the spot a bit.
Okay, so let me get this straight. So you catch a 38 and a 39, which is definitely a kicker up there.
Yeah.
And then the scuba divers wafted in.
Yeah, like probably 10 minutes after that, there's bubbles and scuba divers everywhere.
Oh, how good's that? All right. Well, mate, there's a couple of things to unpack there. Tell us about your first 5 fish. You had some little ones, but how'd you get them?
We got probably 90% of them on the heavy olive Cranka crab.
Okay.
Using the brown claws on the crab.
Right. So brown claws on the crab.
Yeah, I change them over most of the time, and I think they suit the crabs a little bit better there.
Okay.
From what I've seen on some rocks and that.
Right.
But we caught the fish, so I can't really complain too much about it.
Okay.
And now we're just using the atomic deep Ghost Gill brown and the brown sushi in the deep. They're unreal lures, all 3 of them.
Yeah. Okay.
They sort of got 90% of the fish for that day.
Okay. So your Cranka crabs so was I correct in saying you were throwing them into the washers and just letting them hit the bottom, or how'd that look?
Yeah, throwing them right up hard against the rock wall where the wash was, hoping it wouldn't push it too far up the wall, and sort of just watching for that tick in your line nearly, because you can't. It's a bit hard to keep a taut line in the wash.
Wow.
It's constantly just moving around.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So you're in a small tinny. How much swell's coming up through the river system there?
It was a good swell at the top of the tide.
Yeah. Okay.
There's a few times there where I was on the electric flat out trying to get away from it.
Yeah. Okay. Wow, that's fun. All right. Let's go through so with your Cranka crabs, how heavy a leader and what have you fishing them?
So using a 4 pound leader.
Okay.
Just the 6 pound braid set up. I use them on a Miller rod grub freak rod. Find it's got that real soft tip, and I like a pretty long rod.
Yeah.
And that's what I do every time. Tend to lose a few on the 4 pound.
Yeah.
I think you seem to catch more fish on the 4 pound, where if you go to the 6, you seem to catch less but more decent fish.
Okay. Okay. And when you say you catch more decent fish, do you think that's because you're landing the big ones, or?
Yeah, it's more because you can get them out of that structure that little bit quicker.
Right. Okay. All right. And then let's go to the crank 38s. So same deal. You just pitching them in against the rock wall and then winding them out through the wash?
Yeah, through the wash. Off to the sides is where we're getting some good hookups, right on the side of the wash.
Okay.
As well. But yeah, same thing, 3-4 pound leader. I have started throwing them now on straight through fluorocarbon, and I am finding that is the go.
Right. Okay. So why do you say that?
You tend to not pull as many hooks.
Yeah.
At all. It's a completely different feel through the rod, through the line.
Yeah.
Still getting used to it a little bit. But yeah, no, so finally did it, and yeah, not going back.
Okay. And are you using 3 or 4 or 5?
3.
3. Okay. All right. And what brand are you running at the moment?
It's the fluorocarbon is just that new Suffix one.
Okay.
Exact name.
Yeah.
It got recommended to me. I gave it a go, and yeah, no, like it's pretty hardy as well. It can sort of cop a little bit.
Okay. And has it got much memory in terms of doesn't spring off the reel or anything like that?
No, it doesn't seem to have any issue with that.
Perfect. All right. So you've got your bag. You've upgraded to your 38 and 39. What happened after that?
So we went down the river, down fish, down near some trawlers and a bit along some mangroves. And we got, I think, one upgrade. It was like a 2 centimetre upgrade, nothing huge down there. A lot of boats down there though, so I think that area's sort of already been hit pretty well.
Yeah.
Then we decided to head back out the front because that's where we were hoping to get some more decent fish. Tide had dropped a lot. Nowhere near as much wash now.
Okay.
And a lot less water, and the tide was really going through there. Sort of out the front of the hospital there, we got a pretty good upgrade there.
Okay.
But it was getting on this point in the day, and sort of we'll start heading back, and the tide was just getting too out of control out the front there.
Right.
By the time you got up the front, got your electric down, you already drifted 50 metres.
Right. Okay. So you'd have your electric on full bore. And in the back end of the day there, were you using the crabs or the cranks, or how'd that look?
Yeah, it was sort of stuck with the cranks by the end of the day.
Yeah.
So I went down on the other side of that bridge, was cranking, and sort of started around the corners, like a little inlet there, and a couple of pontoons, wharfs, and we sort of cranked them. Just as we come around the corner to right near where that rock was, we got a real good upgrade there late in the day. And then I had a real good fish right next to the boat, but being lazy during the day and not retied at all, so I had to nick it up the line, and that one went back to where it belonged.
No, terrible news.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, there you go. Okay. All right. So the big question is, who got all the fish?
I got the first 5 really, but then Campbell, he come through with probably 60-70% of the upgrades.
Right. Okay. And do you have a reason for that, or is it just how it played out? Or
It's just how it sort of played out. he switched to the cranks a bit earlier than I did. I stayed with the crabs for a bit.
Yeah.
Seemed to get a lot on them. So
Okay. And of the, like, you were using the Jackall and the Atomic, did you switch between them for any reason, or was it, how'd that look?
Oh, they're sort of my two favourite, or the muddy prawn, but I didn't have any at that time. And that's what I had tied on, the two different rods. And I just, if I didn't get a couple of casts, didn't get a hit on a certain one, I'd just go to the other.
Okay.
Just keep switching throughout the day.
Okay. Fair enough. And did you drop any fish apart from that one you just spoke about?
Yeah, we lost a fair few on the walls using the 4-pound leader.
Sure.
Obviously expected.
Yeah.
No, I don't think there was nothing as good as that one that I dropped real late in the day.
Okay. Fair enough. Oh, well, hey, the good thing is at least you hooked it. There's nothing worse than going to a comp and you catch 5 small fish or 3 small fish or whatever it is, and you didn't even see a big one. So
yeah. And we could just see it under the water too. It was getting close. Hadn't paid attention to my line, fishing the rock walls and everything. Just must have been nicked a little bit further up. Yeah,
it does happen. All right. So was there anything else with the fishing before we move on?
Oh, not really. Weather come through a bit in the afternoon, and it sort of turned them back on.
Okay.
As well. Because it went through the middle of the day, it went pretty quiet.
Sure.
And as soon as it started raining, it really turned them back on.
Okay. Well, that makes it feel better when it starts raining. You start catching fish. You kind of forget about the rain a bit.
Yeah.
Very good. All right. So, mate, for 4th place, what did you get to take home?
It was $100, I think. Yeah.
Okay. Fair enough.
Oh, nothing here. It's a start, though.
It's a start, mate. First round, you're right up the top. That's kind of good.
Well, hopefully we stay there.
Very good. All right, mate, before we shoot off, is there anyone you want to give a shout out to?
It'd have to be Jay Morgan in it, hooked on brewing bait and barbecue. He gets all the gear for me. A lot of guys know him from back in his day.
Yeah.
And Jace Graham in Sydney, who got me into the tournament Bream Fishing.
Right. Okay. Well, there you go. So you're a Sydney boy?
Yes, I was for a fair while.
Yeah, okay. Very good. All right, mate. That is fantastic. Mate, thanks for coming on the show and good luck this weekend. I assume you'll be fishing the next round.
Yeah, going up Gold Coast this weekend.
Very good. All right, mate. Well, hopefully we get to have a chat to you before the end of the year. But if not, thanks for coming on.
Thank you.
All right. If you're in the market for a new kayak or looking to make some upgrades to your existing kayak or possibly looking at kayak fishing tournaments, then HWS is the place to go. They have a full range of Hobie kayaks and stock the latest kayak accessories and are really dialed in when it comes to the best kayak fishing setup for the casual fisher and tournament angler. hws.com.au, online or in store at Shop 3/638 Pacific Highway, Belmont. James offers free deliveries on Hobie kayaks across all of Greater Sydney, Central Coast and Hunter. So if anyone that doesn't know James, he's going to be down at the Woi Woi comp at the last weekend of the month, which I think is the 25th and 26th. So you can jump down there to Kyle Bay, I think the start is, and meet James. He'll be fishing, so probably be a bit busy. But the other thing that gives you an opportunity, if anyone's sitting on the fence about getting a kayak and what have you, it's definitely a great time to come down and see what's happening, have a look at a few kayaks, or potentially get James to bring you one down. If you know what you want to buy, I'm sure you can order that and he'll bring it to the event site or bring it down to Sydney and you can hook up somewhere and have a go. Anyway, great opportunity to see James. If you need some bits and pieces, I'm sure he'll bring them to hws.com.au. All right. If you're also looking to wrap your boat or kayak, then who are you going to go to? Podium Marine Wraps. Now, Corey is fast becoming the go-to guy within the industry to wrap your boat or kayak. In last year for the Australian Championships, Corey did a bit of work for Hobie, and he's also just recently wrapped Andrew Eddinghouse's boat for his show, so Escape with ET. So he's definitely getting up there, wrapping some high-profile things. Anyway, if you want to have a talk to Corey about getting your boat wrapped or just have a chat, get a quote, see what you're up for, then probably the best way to get into it is send him an email, info@podiummarinerwraps.com.au, and he'll get back to you and maybe you can work something out. If you jump online, there's a whole form here which you can fill in online and type your message and what have you. And Corey will get back to you and hopefully you can get a nice new wrap with whatever you want on it. Next up in second place, we've got Team No Nibs. They dropped 5 fish for 2.936, which included the big brim for the comp of 984 grams. I've got Chris, Lonnie, and Jacob Kelly. Welcome to the show, guys.
Hey, mate.
Hey, Deethy. Thanks for having us.
No worries at all.
Good to be chatting again.
Yeah, mate. Good to have you back on. Yeah, what show did we have you on for last year, Chris?
Gladstone, ABT.
Gladstone, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, cool. Can't even remember. Are you fishing the ABTs this year?
I'll be doing the Hawkesbury and the Tweed and Richmond round and the Queensland Open as well, yeah.
Nice. Oh, well, maybe we'll get another crack there.
I'll cross my fingers.
Fair enough. And what about yourself, Jacob? Are you into the ABTs as well?
Yeah, so I've been a bit on and off with ABT. I've done a Gold Coast and Tweed round. Yeah, this year I'll be doing the Tweed, possibly the Richmond, and hopefully the Queensland Open for my first time.
Perfect. All right. Well, there's lots of chances there. All right. Let's get down to the task at hand. So we've got the Queensland Team Series on the Tweed River. How about we start off with pre-fishers? So did you guys get down there and have a go and try and work some stuff out before the comp?
Yeah, I was able to shoot down there, I think it was the weekend before, and then maybe the weekend before that as well. I think I went down, both weekends beforehand. And, yeah, found a lot of fish, but didn't really find much size. We were kind of sort of a bit apprehensive about how it would go, and we were sort of thinking if we can crack 2.5 kilos, I reckon you'll be right up there. But it definitely exceeded our expectations.
Yeah, for comp day. What about yourself, Jacob?
Yeah, I was expecting, I think my estimated weight on the group page was 2.3 kilos. I wasn't having too much of high expectations there. I knew it was leading into that winter bite, and we did have a couple of cool days leading up to it and a full moon, which it can bring bigger fish on, but the bite windows can be a lot smaller. And I think that's what we found on the day. I don't know if that was just a bit of a lucky guess, but we just, did what we normally do and just try to find those bigger fish.
Okay, well, let's roll into comp day. And, tell us how, well, first of all, start with where you started and give us a bit of a rundown of how your day went.
Yeah, so we started up on the Tindera Bridge, just throwing crankbaits. I think, Jake, were you throwing a crab? I think he was throwing a crab.
Yeah, I was throwing a crab, but didn't get anything on crabs. But Chris was getting them all on the cranks because, we were live scoping them on the bridge, and Chris was definitely right in saying that when they're that suspended, they just don't really have much interest in following a crab down.
Sure. Okay, so you're telling me they were reasonably high on the bridge.
Yeah, you could see them sort of moving up and down, like within the top couple of feet of the water column.
Right.
And we only got 2 small ones on the cranks, and then decided it was time to make a move.
Okay. All right. So you got a couple on the cranks. Actually, which cranks were you running?
We usually run a combination of cranks. I think I had one of the Berkeley Brims crankbaits on, but we usually rig a multitude of brands like Jackalls, and I think Strike Pro do a half decent crankbait. Just whatever's floating the boat, so to speak.
Sure. All right. So you finished on the bridge, and where'd you head off to? And what did you just stay with the cranks, or did we move on?
We decided to head down to one of the main river rock walls there, and as soon as we got there, we sort of saw there was a bunch of bait, just absolutely loaded along the edge of the wall, and we were throwing. For some reason, we decided to make the change to plastics and crabs for the start, and ended up filling our bag pretty quickly. yeah, and then we were lucky enough to get a couple of good bites as well. I think we got a 35 forker off that wall. That was the big one.
Right.
A 31 forker. And I think there was another decent one in there as well.
Yeah, I think it's 29.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice. Nice. There's a couple of solid fish.
Yeah, for the Tweed, they were definitely above average. We weren't, as I said, we weren't really expecting to get that sort of caliber of fish. Like, we weren't even really expecting to fish that wall much. It was sort of part of a loose game plan.
Yeah.
But the main idea was just to fish sort of bridges and rotate through the bridges and try and find, that better class of fish. But, we found it in a place that we weren't really fully expecting to find it.
Yeah. And look, I've never been on the Tweed. Can one of you guys explain to me what the sort of rock wall looks like and how did you go about fishing it?
Yeah, it's an interesting spot. It has a few different kind of current diversions and, I guess, different flows. Like, you can be, 100 meters either side of kind of where we're fishing, and you can just have two completely different current speeds,
Sure.
which is just a bit interesting. I'm not sure as to why that is, but the rock ledge is generally the best one we found was kind of like a maybe 2 to 3 foot close to the rocks, dropping into maybe 6 to 8 foot. And I guess we weren't really fishing much deeper than 8 foot, I'd say.
Sure. And were you sort of pitching it in really tight and then walking the crab back down the ledge? Is that how that was?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's pretty much just throw it in as tight as you could, and as soon as it hit the water, flick your bail arm over and just either slowly draw with the rod tip, so you could just keep that tension.
Yeah.
And then as soon as you get a bite, kind of just wind them on.
Yeah, just lean into it. That's pretty cool. And with the bites, were they were they smashing them or were they just sort of pecking at them?
It was a decent enough sort of bite. Like, they were aggressive enough. I wouldn't say they were smoking it, but they weren't just tapping at it. Like, they were actually eating it.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah, it was almost like a reaction bite at times. Like, they weren't hitting it on the bottom. It was as it was dropping or even on the slow roll. So it was kind of a bit different to what we're used to, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, I think in a situation like that, often it is kind of a reaction. They either grab it or it drifts past and it's gone. So it kind of, gets them going.
Yeah, exactly. And I think there was a pretty decent volume of fish along that stretch as well. I think there would have been a fair bit of competition between them to see who can get the crab first or get the plastic. Yeah.
Definitely. All right. So you had a couple of decent fish in the well. Was that kind of the end of your day, or did you round it out, get any upgrades throughout the day?
We then decided, I think, after we hit that wall, to go up the Terranora arm and just check that out. And I think we only ended up hitting up one of the bridges up there, and it was fairly slow, but we sort of noticed on the live scope that the fish were sitting a bit deeper than they were on the other bridge.
Sure.
And sure enough, I think maybe third pylon in, Jacob got us an upgrade.
Right. Okay. That was back on the crab. So, okay. All right. So did that round out the day in terms of your bag?
Yeah, I think that might have been it. I think we there was a few other boats up the Terranora and we weren't quite sure what else had been hit by other people. So we had a look at the canals and it was a bit quiet in there. So we ended up actually going back to where we started, that other rock wall, and ended up picking up a few other good fish, but couldn't really upgrade anything. I think we had a 27 forker that we were trying to throw out and a couple small missed opportunities, but yeah, we were definitely happy with it.
Definitely. It was a good bag for the Tweed. How many fish, how many legals do you reckon you got for the day?
It wasn't crazy. Like we probably got like 15 legals, you reckon, Jake?
Yeah, I'd say 15 and plenty around. I mean, maybe 15 legals and just so many just undersized. I think that was one of the hardest parts, trying to keep it away from those fish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I think that's a good rundown of the fishing in general. A couple of questions. What sort of lines and leaders were you running for the comp?
I think I pretty much run 5 pound leader exclusively.
Yeah.
Unless I'm fishing like deeper, snaggier country, but generally 5 pound, between 5 and 8 pound if you're losing fish. But yeah, generally 5 pound for me.
Yeah. And Chris?
Yeah, I think it would have been 10 pound main line and then 6 pound fluoro leader, except for one or two of my setups, which is, I think it's 4 and 5 pounds straight through fluoro.
Okay.
That was for the cranking, some of the cranking.
Yeah, so still pretty light. Now with the Berkeley brims, I can't remember whether we covered it. What sort of colours did you use it, and what? I can't remember whether we did cover that, so apologies if we did. What colours, and did you use the deep or the shallow?
We use the deep. We pretty much always just use the deep if we're going to use those ones. And the colour was banana paw, and it's got like a translucent brown back and then like a fluorescent orange eye. It's pretty decent colour, to be honest.
Yeah,
goes well for us.
Very good. Very good. All right. That's a good rundown. So what did you guys get to take home for second place?
That's a good question. I can't really remember. I think it was
about $400.
Was it $400? Yeah, I was going to say 400. Yeah.
Yeah. And you got a carton of Black Hawk
and I got a carton of beer for
Big
Bream, which is very handy.
Nice. Yeah. Very good. It's always good to get Big Bream.
Yep.
Very good. Very good. All right, guys. I reckon that rounds it out pretty nicely. Is there anyone or any people that you want to give a shout out to before we finish up?
Mainly just Craig and all the other volunteers that help him run the Queensland team series. He puts a lot into it, and it's an awesome little series to fish. It's very fun.
Yeah, no, it looks like a great series from down here, and you get a lot of quality anglers turn up too, which is very cool.
Yeah, that's it. Like it's usually a pretty decent turnout. Yeah, they're good fun comps. Not too serious, but also
great social comp as well. We all get together after and have a chat, and we always see new faces coming through. So it's really good.
Pretty good going. Sounds good to me. All right, guys, I'm going to leave it there, mate. Thank you so much for coming on, and I'm sure we'll get to speak to you throughout the rest of the season.
Too easy, Deethy. No worries. Thanks for having us.
Thanks, Deethy.
All right, guys. Appreciate it. Let's talk to you soon. All right. So there you have it, everybody. That's all the angler interviews we have now. John Siggs, I did reach out to him, but he wasn't keen at this point. However, he did do an interview with Craig Templar from the Queensland Team Series, which is on YouTube under Queensland Team Series, all spelt, not QTS. So jump on there if you want to see what James did. I assume with the Tweed River round of the ABT, people will be pretty keen to find out what's going on up there. And there's a great bit of information over there. Now, Hedgie's big birthday bash. How cool was that? What happened was Friday afternoon, we jumped on a plane and flew up straight into Hervey Bay, stayed at the Mantra, which was a hotel, what have you, up there. And yeah, we went out with Hervey Bay fly and sports fishing. So Saturday we went out with Sonny, and Sunday I went out with Benno. So we had a great time. Caught a bunch of tuna, mac tuna, longtails, and a couple of schoolies. So I guess if you're looking for something different, it's probably worth reaching out to those guys. And fly in 10 minutes from the airport in a taxi, and we walk from the Mantra to the boat launch. So it was really, really convenient. There was a couple of restaurants nearby. And we had a great time. It was a really, really, really good weekend. And even though life's really busy at the moment. It was such a good thing to do for the weekend to celebrate Hedgie cracking the big 5-0. Really cool. So anyway, if you're interested, jump online and have a look at Hervey Bay Fly and Sports Fishing and tell him Deethy sent you, and they'll go, who? But anyway, it'll still be pretty cool. All right, and a couple of things before we head off. So obviously the Hobie comps on the 25th and 26th. Before that, the weekend before, at Parramatta River, we've got the action fishing tournaments, the kayak series just on the Sunday or Saturday, I'm not sure which. The East Coast Bream series on the 26th of May at Lake Mac. So if you're not registered for that and you're keen to have a go, definitely get on that. The Queensland Team Series, the 9th of May at the Brisbane River. So there you go. That's all the things that are coming up in the short term. I really hope you enjoyed this show. I'm looking forward to talking to you again next week on the Bream Fishing Project.
Thanks for listening. Hopefully you were informed, inspired and entertained. If you were able to learn something or just enjoyed listening, please consider subscribing and rate us on your favourite podcasting platform.